and welcome to another episode of the Marco Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Today's episode is going to be about entrepreneurship. It's a Wednesday episode, so Wednesdays are entrepreneurship days. Yay! And I wanted to start off with the first episode. As you can see, the title is called Nope. That is a word that I think entrepreneurs should learn, use it, and stick with it, because being an entrepreneur, especially a new entrepreneur, you're trying to do everything. Well, not I don't want to say you're trying to do everything. You're trying to get clients, you're trying to get customers, and you feel like if you say no to someone, then that's going to hinder you from getting those clients and from getting those customers, or that people are going to be like, oh, well, I asked her to do something and she didn't want to do it. So, yeah, now I'm not going with that business anymore. And it makes you feel like you just have to say yes to everything and everyone. But then that leaves you being burnt out and frustrated. And then you just want to give up on your business because you're trying to do all these things. And it may or may not be the thing that you want to do. It may or may not even be the thing that you started your business for. So, for instance, before I started the modest company, I had another business and I still have it. I just haven't done anything with it in a while. It was called 1035 Crafts and More. And so I started that business because I wanted to make tote bags. Like, I was really good. So got older, kind of put the sewing machine off to the side, and I didn't touch it for the longest time, to the point that my husband was like, I fell in love with making tote bags. Like, I just love making them so much now. And I just started making them for myself, my friends, my family, and people would see my tote bags when I go out and they'd be like, oh, your bag is so nice, I love it. And I'm like, oh, thanks, I made it. And then you get people saying, oh, you should start a business doing that, you could sell those would be great to sell, blah blah blah. And I made zipper pouches too, so I was like, tote bag with the matching zipper pouch, that'll be awesome, that'll be a great seller. So I started the business selling tote bags. Well, tote bags weren't selling, but then people found out that you can sew. And they're like, oh, well, can you make this for me? Can you make that for me? So next thing you know, I never wanted to make t-shirts. I am not the person that just wants to do what's popular or what's cool. Everybody and their mama was making t-shirts, and I just didn't want to do it. But everybody started asking, hey, can you make t-shirts? Do you know how to do shirts? And I was like, okay, that was not what I planned to do, not my niche. But I started making shirts. Then I had all these shirt ideas. I was buying shirts in bulk. And what do you know? Nobody wants shirts anymore. So I did shirts, I did coasters, I did tote bags, I did blankets. And people think that just because you sew, that means that you can just sew. That means that you can just sew anything. Like, people start asking me to make clothes. I'm like, I don't sew clothes. People are like, oh, can you sew? Oh, I don't know. It was just all kind of stuff that people were asking me to sew. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. And they're like, well, can you try it? And so then I would try it, and then I would end up getting frustrated because that wasn't what I wanted to do. And the same thing with shirts. Then it started with people saying, well, can you do a pillowcase? Because then I have Cricut, which does like the vinyl and everything. And then I got a printer for sublimation, which is where you print it out, and then the heat press, the ink releases it to make it stay on the shirt, and it lasts longer than vinyl. So then people are like, well, can you do pillowcases? I had never done a pillowcase, but I'm like, okay, let me do the pillowcase. Somebody asked me if I could make journals for them. I had never done journals before, but I was like, okay, sure, I'll do journals. And I took on the journals because it was going to be a potentially big order, because the person who asked me to make journals was actually another small business owner, and they wanted to use them in their business. So at the time, I'm not thinking, I have no idea about making journals. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to learn how to make these journals because this person's getting ready to put in a really big order for me. I ended up wasting time and money on these journals because I never got the order. And also, when you're trying something new, you're going to make mistakes. And as a business owner, just anyone, you don't want to give somebody, I don't do anything half-ass. Sorry, I know I don't usually cuss on this podcast, but that one needed to come out. So, that's just not me. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to, guess what? Nobody really bought them. And I was like, okay. So if it's not in your wheelhouse, or if it's not something that you've like a skill that you've honed in on and you've practiced it, if somebody says, "Hey, can you make this for me?" or "Hey, do you do this? Can you offer the service?" Tell them no. Just say no. That's not something that I currently offer. That's not something that I feel comfortable doing. I mean, you don't actually have to give them an explanation, but if you feel like it, then just tell them, nope, don't offer it. Sorry. If you know somebody who does and you know that person is reliable and you want to refer them to them, be like, I can refer you to this person. But don't take on that added stress, because it's going to end up frustrating you. If someone asks you, can you do something, and you don't do it, but it's something that you would like to do, then learn that skill first, hone in on it, figure out the process for it before you start offering, so that way you feel comfortable with it. But don't say yes just because you're scared of losing out on a potential client or customer, because you may not even get that person at the end of the day. And then also, that just goes into as well, if it's a product or service that you used to offer but you no longer offer, just say no. There's a reason that you no longer offer it. It could be that you didn't like doing it anymore. It could be that that you didn't have a good enough customer or client base for it, that it frustrated you when you were doing it, or that you just don't make enough, that the return on the investment just isn't enough to warrant you doing it. But if you don't offer it anymore, then tell the person no. Don't tell them yes just because you don't want to hurt their feelings, or because you're scared to lose the client, or because that person's like, please, 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 I really need this. Your sanity will thank you. You will thank you. Just tell them no. Simple as that. And another time that you need to learn to say no is if you just don't have the time or the capacity to do it. If your schedule is tight, if it's a last minute order, or if you just don't feel like doing it, just say no. I can't tell you how many times with t-shirts, I would have people call me on like a Friday and be like, "Hey, can you make this shirt for me?" And I'm like, "Okay, when do you need it by?" "Saturday." As in tomorrow, Saturday? And you're calling me on Friday at 3 o'clock to ask me if I can have the shirt done for you tomorrow by noon. But because I was in that mindset of, okay, I can't lose this one customer. Now I'm sitting here trying to figure out, I'm like, I don't have any shirts at home because I stopped keeping shirts on hand, because I was wasting money on having shirts on hand, because I either wouldn't have the size that somebody wanted or the color that somebody wanted. So I was wasting money on it. So I'm sitting like, okay, I get off work at 3:30. I'm on Michael's website or Joanne's website looking to see if they have the type of shirt that I need. Then I'm like, okay, well, we're supposed to go out to dinner tonight, but also my son has soccer in the morning. I have to get up and coach soccer in the morning. I have to do this. So I'm trying to figure out, when am I going to have time to make that shirt? But again, because I didn't want to lose a customer, I'm not telling the person no. And I'm over here stressing myself out for what would equate to maybe $5 at the end of the day, because I have to go out and buy the shirt now. I have to use the gas to get there. I probably, if I'm doing vinyl, I probably don't have the color vinyl that they need. So now I have to buy the vinyl. So I've spent probably $12, $13 on supplies. And then I'm only charging them maybe $20 because they're still going off of my prices that I had 6 months ago. Because, heaven forbid you like raise your prices. And then I feel bad to be like, oh, well, now I charge $25 for a shirt. So I'm doing all of this for what may amount to $5, when I could have just took the time to be like, hey, no, sorry, I don't do last minute orders. I don't have time to get your order done. So if it's a last minute order, just say no, and get in the habit of doing that early on, because if you do a last minute order one time, they're going to keep doing it. People are not going to respect your time and respect your space. If you take one last minute order, then the next time you say, "Oh no, I can't do it." Now they're, "Well, why can't you do it? You did it for me this time. You did it for this time." No, respect my time. Just say no to last minute orders, last minute requests. Like, people always expect a yes, because people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes of your business. They think that you just get a shirt and you slap it together and you're done. Or they think that that this project just magically appears. It's like when you're growing up and your parents are like, do you think these clothes just magically get folded by themselves? Like, how do you think things get done? And I think sometimes people think that about a business, is that it just magically gets done. No, time and effort goes into this. So start having people respect your time and tell them no, like, just no. I know it's really hard to do as an entrepreneur, as a small business, as I said, especially in the beginning when you're just starting out, because you don't want to lose that potential client or customer. But as I said in the beginning, you also don't want to get burnt out or frustrated because you're trying to do everything to please everyone and to satisfy everyone. So that is something that I wish I had have known early on, and that I really had of put into practice, is just saying no. So just say no. All right. I hope you all enjoyed this first episode about entrepreneurship. I will, as I said, be doing these once a week on Wednesdays. And yeah, so just thank you. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please make sure to follow and rate the podcast whenever you listen.